hands, and we thank you for being able to have the freedom to meet and having self-governance. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you all. Like a roll call, please.
Commissioner Haley?
Here.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber?
Here.
Commissioner Howard?
Here.
Commissioner Shepard?
Here.
Chairman Broder?
Here. Thank you all. This time I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion with support. Any changes to the agenda? Discussion. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And our agenda is approved. At this point, I would need a motion to approve the minutes of the February 12th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. Thank you. We move to approval of the bills and Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 2/11, 2/13, 2/14, 2/18, 2/20, 2/21, 2/27, 2/28, 3/6, and 3/7, and authorize Treasury to draw warrants in the amount of $10,182,398.02.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussions or questions on the bills? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepard?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes. All right, the bills are approved. At this time is our first opportunity for the public to address the board. I don't have any slips. Anybody? Seeing no one, we will move on then to committee reports. Commissioner Shepard, can we start with you?
Well, last month we attended the Council on Aging, and they were having difficulty getting the necessary Meals on Wheels out to people. And after the meeting, I went over to the Veterans meeting and asked if any funding from the PA 214 could be utilized to help with supplying meals to the veterans in the county. So just working on that.
Were they having trouble getting the meals up because of money?
Not necessarily money, but getting the drivers and what have you.
Oh, the staffing problem.
I believe so. Wasn't that how it was?
Yeah, some of that. And then they have, I'm on the board also, they have trouble getting meals, so, food, sometimes they used to get it at Gordon Foods and they're out of it and can't get it and they have to get it from other places, and even some of the grocery stores and stuff and pay more, so everything is, not all the time, it's kind of up and down, just like everything else.
Okay. What's that? Thank you. Commissioner.
The only thing I had was from the Planning Commission, and we talked about that under Econ and Physical Development.
All right.
That's the only item I had this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Haley.
I don't have too much this month either. It was at the Parks and Recreation meeting. We had it was very quick. We're getting ready for where we're going to be sort of meeting for the summer and fall months and sort of planning ahead for the year. So we'll have more once we have our March meeting. So.
All right, Commissioner Garber.
No report today. Thank you.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yeah, I'm on the Shiawassee County on Aging. Also, I'm on the Health Department, and I was talking with Larry and with bird flu, asking them if they had a lot more ducks died, and so far they haven't, so it's way down. So maybe they got vaccinated. I just made that a little humor. I just made that a little humor. So also on the regular Health and Wellness Board, and things are tight over there. The state doesn't always want to, the federal wants to cut the funding, so we're having little problems. I'm on the SEDP with Justin Horvath, and they have all kinds of events for businesses and grants and everything. Every week they got all kinds of that for other countries and other places in the state, and that he's really busy. Things are moving along good. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, at this point, let's move on to committee motions. Commissioner Howard, can we start with you?
Absolutely. I move to accept and place on file the 2024 Drain Commission Annual Report as presented.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion?
Every department head submits an annual report. This is the Drain Commissioners. This is Commissioner Singer's first one. If you have any questions, he is here in the audience for you.
Anyone have any questions? Apparently not. Voice?
Voice is fine.
Okay. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And, all right, we're good there.
I move to approve the purchase of a dump trailer for the drain department from their equipment revolving fund not to exceed $8,754.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on that one?
Very briefly, Commissioner Singer evaluated the dump trailer that they've been using. It's in need of repair. He solicited 2 bids. This one was $4,000 cheaper than the previous one.
And
It
the
will come
other
from
one,
equipment revolving and not the general fund.
and I think you mentioned the other one is being kept as sort of just to move things around the parking lot and so on. So, I think we're good there. Any other questions or comments? I would need a roll call vote then, please.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the PA 116 farmland agreement application for George and Taryn Zipco in Fairfield Township.
Support.
Motion with support.
Standard PA 116 farm group.
Done a lot of them. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve ordinance 25-03-02, amending the zoning map for a parcel of land in Woodhull Township from A2 agricultural to RM1 multiple family residential.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on this?
Very briefly, this is a 100-and-some-year-old building. It looks like a downtown building. It was originally a hotel that is going to be redeveloped by the developer into a 4-unit apartment structure. Why it was zoned agriculture where it is, I'm not quite sure, but we're changing that so it'll be an allowable use. The developer's representative, Sarah Kopko, is here if you have any questions that you would like to ask her about it. It was approved by our planning commission and the Woodhull Township Board concurred.
I wouldn't mind hearing a little more about it. That sounds kind of cool with our housing, shortage that we seem to always have.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah Kopko for Lion Bear Ventures, representing Joel Spitz. He apologizes that he's not here today. He was working. So Joel has been a small developer for the last decade. He has about 12 properties, mostly duplexes and single-family homes across Lansing and Shiawassee County. And he has had this building in his family. He spent holidays there growing up. And so it's something that's really near and dear to his heart. It's a beautiful building. I know a few of you have had an opportunity to see it. And the facade is in really great shape. We've been able to work with the SEDP to be able to have access to some blight grant funding. That looks like it's going to be approved as well. We've submitted a final application per state recommendation to help button up some of the facade and roofing. And then we've applied for a MSHDA financing application for $440,000 through their My Neighborhoods program to be able to bring these 4 units. They're 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. They are income regulated, where we have to have a portion of the units. One of them would be at 60% of the area median income, and the other 3 would be at up to 120%. Based on the Shiawassee market study that was done for housing, we're assuming we'll probably be in that 70 to 80% AMI range, which would actually be targeting the biggest need in Shiawassee. I think there's about 144 units that are desired for our community with growth over the next few years. And we're really excited to be able to bring those units and make it approachable and bring more families to the rural community, because they only have the 2 complexes right down the road in terms of multifamily in the area. So we'll actually be serving a very underserved community in Woodhull.
Yeah, there are a couple of multifamily apartment complexes within a block of where this one is. This one kind of looks like your standard downtown two-story brick building. That must have been part of a series of downtown buildings at one point in what was Shaftesbury.
Yeah, I've been by it, it's been a while. So how does that, so the percentages then, I understand for the income base, but who facilitates that? So the person that owns the building, are
Yes.
they reimbursed for the difference or?
So the application itself, it's $100,000 per unit for build-out costs. So you can apply for up to $400,000, given that it's 4 units. And then for 5 years, there is a lien on the property that indicates that that compliance must be maintained. He has to maintain digital records so that MISHDA can review at any point to ensure that we are within those structures of 60% AMI and up to 120% AMI. Should he not follow compliance, he would default and have to pay back the full amount. But after 5 years, it is free and clear. However, he does plan to keep it at market rate and plans to keep it in his family for as long as possible. It was about 8 years of probate following his aunt's death before he was able to actually get that into his name. So a long fight to be able to have this property remain in his family because he does believe in it, and it's about $1 million project, all said and done. Yes.
Right now it's a little leaky.
Okay, so am I
On the stairs
understanding
or
it?
some standard.
Yeah.
So he's getting, the grant covers this $100,000 per unit.
Yes.
So as far then going forward, the discounted rent, he's kind of essentially being paid up front for
Correct.
that. Okay,
So
that's
the
what I
My
didn't
Neighborhoods
understand.
program, there's 2 facets, and we have discussed both sides of it. There's a municipality fund that can help, as of Monday, start paying for infrastructure for housing developments. And then there was the for-profit developer funds. This is the second round. They're almost out of money. They've got some earmarks that are coming, and then there'll be new funding in October. But Lion Bears brought $751,000 into Shiawassee County alone for this housing to be able to address that need, because 120% AMI is not approachable for most of America to be able to look at rental rates. So 70 and 80% is where I think most of our developers will be targeting. And with build-out costs being somewhere between $250 and $350 a square foot, it's very difficult to look at a 1,000 square foot unit and say that's going to cost me $250,000. How do you do that and then address market rate rentals and be able to bring new units to market without having help? So MISHDA had about $30 million for private development that has been spent over the last year, being able to bring these new unit creations. It's for sale and for rent.
So what does that number look like, that 70 to 80%, or no, you said 120?
80, yeah, so 60%, at least 20% of the units that are created has to be 60%. For one person in Shiawassee County, 60% area median income is around $35,000.
Okay,
And then for a 1-bedroom, I know for a studio it's $841 and a rental rate at 60%, and I want to say it's somewhere around $1057 for a 2-bedroom. So that's the highest that we can go. Realistically, on the other units that could go up to 120%, I think that number's around $85,000 for one person. And the highest that we could realistically go for a 2-bedroom in this area, if you look at that Shiawassee housing study, it's probably $1,200. I don't think that
Okay.
he's gonna do more than $1,100 or $1,200. Theoretically, you could go up to about $2,157. It just, but exactly. There's no one that can afford a 2-bedroom apartment at $2,000.
Right.
Not anywhere around here. And so it's a really easy lift because we're gonna be under that cap. The only one unit is a little bit of a stretch, and I still think $1,000 for a 2-bedroom is not too shabby for this
Right.
area.
no, it's not, okay.
And it's been able, so we've utilized this program at the Magoo's building in Owasso, right next to the tobacco place and Fortune House. We've been able to utilize that program. We used it for a public amenities piece out in Byron for their parks project. And we have the 4 units pending in Shaftesbury. It's an amazing program, and I hope in October to spend a lot more of those dollars.
All right, well, thank you for those numbers. That puts it in perspective.
Yeah,
so.
the Venn diagram of what is the income and what is the rent rate really isn't a huge it's a very small overlap. And I think that might need to be something that's addressed futuristically, but I think that this is going to be able to help us address a serious need in Shiawassee.
Sounds like it. Thank you.
Of course.
I just have a quick question about that. You said MISTA, that the grant was coming through MISTA?
So one of the grants we did apply through MISTA, My Neighborhoods.
My Neighborhoods.
Yep, HCDF is the portion of funds that is the for-profit. And then the CBDG funds are the municipality funds, which can fund homeowner revitalization programs. And as of Monday, will be allowed for infrastructure that will help create housing units.
Okay. Sorry.
And I think it's important to note that this is state money that we have been taxed on, and we're able to return some of it here to Shiawassee County to help with developing our needs. Because this building would eventually become a blighted building and likely demolished, but probably not for a while yet. So it's a good reuse of the property.
Right.
What will be his percentage of the investment?
So right now, we are looking at an ask for $196,000 for state blight funds, and then we're looking at the $400,000 ask for the apartment unit creation. So looking at about $600,000, that means that he has about a $400,000 expenditure on his own. And we've been working with Eaton Community Bank out of Eaton Rapids. Bob Dickens has been quite lovely in helping us. The way that the program works is you can do an upfront draw, and the bank would match. And so out the course of the actual project, we would be able to draw down funds from both MISTA and the bank to get the project over the finish line. We're also working with Sam Marius on potential infrastructure dollars that could be going in for private sewer septic that'll need to be put in to accommodate.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
no public systems out there.
No.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
All set? Any other questions or discussion on this one? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes. This time I'm looking to,
We got one
Got
more.
one more.
I apologize.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2025 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Support.
I have motion support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're very
Didn't
welcome.
mean to jump the gun there. Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move to approve the annual renewal of Microsoft licensing for email and cloud hosting not to exceed $54,282.50.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on that item?
This is our email system and cloud storage. Budgeted item, general fund.
Very good. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Haley?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 10th, 2025 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion?
Gotta go faster to withdraw.
Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, the minutes are approved. Commissioner Haley.
I move to approve the purchase of tasers and supporting equipment not to exceed the cost of $50,068.20 and to apply for the 50% reimbursement grant.
Support.
Motion with support.
So briefly, last month you purchased $29,000 worth, but the grant reimbursable amount for the MMRMA is up to $50,000. The Sheriff's Department was planning on purchasing more of these later, but if we purchase them later, then our savings would be reduced to 25% on the second purchase, and I believe it drops to 10 on the third purchase, and then maybe 0 after that. So I asked the sheriff to rearrange what it was he wanted to purchase to do this now, so that we could get more of a BOGO, buy one get one free, if you will, on what we're doing to maximize our savings from MMRMA. I will note that several of them are broken. You can't just easily replace the battery with them. They have other component problems that go along with them besides just the charger.
I have a quick question about that. This came up actually at a township meeting last night, and I was talking about the reimbursement grant. You're saying buy one, get one free, is it not really a reimbursement grant then? I mean,
So we're buying it from the company, and then the MMRMA is paid up to $50,000, or up to 25 or 25,000, 50% of up to 50
Okay.
back to us. So it's essentially buy one get one, but not exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And essentially, and I will point out that the reason that they're doing this is it's a non-lethal measure of engaging with individuals, and the insurance company supports this because it is cheaper than fatality-related lawsuits.
Have they looked into other taser units?
Yes.
And this is the only one they can come up with?
This is the one they recommend.
Other questions? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 11th, 2025 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner Haley. Commissioner Garber, back to you.
Thank you. I move to approve the appointment of Candace Wolsfield and Vicky Bocek to the Shiawassee Health and Wellness Board.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion?
There are 3 vacancies on the Health and Wellness Board. Vicky has been on there for a long period of time and is seeking reappointment. Candace is new. She's the Chamber of Commerce Director in Duran, and lives in Duran, so you'll have some increased regional diversity on the board who represents community mental health. We have one more that we will review sometime next month for appointment. These were cleared with the board chair. It's his recommendation, and the chair of Shiawassee Health and Wellness.
All right, any questions on that? All in favor of approving those appointments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those are approved.
I move to approve the use of up to $40,000 from the Solid Waste Fund, Waste Management Fund 230, to Fund 2 Household Hazardous Waste Collections in
Support.
2025.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on that item?
Very briefly, this comes from the landfill money that we receive, and there will be 2 collections, one in Durand and one in Owasso for hazardous waste cleanup. It has gone up $5,000 more from the previous year. The one in the city of Durand will be on May 10th, and the one in Owasso will be on September 13th.
Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to authorize the health director to hire a summer public health intern at $18 per hour, not to exceed the grant funding.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion?
Very briefly, a grant from the Cook Foundation. Larry has historically had them. They have not had them since about COVID. We are on the hook for about $300 of the totality of the cost, which is not bad at all. Then that'll come from Larry's budget in the health department, not the general.
$300. We could live with that. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the grant agreement between the Cook Foundation for Menstrual Health Services in the amount of $10,000 and authorize the board chair to execute that contract.
Support.
Motion with support.
Very briefly, this is a grant from the Cook Foundation to distribute feminine hygiene products in high schools and middle schools across the county. Our nurses that work for the county that are in those schools will serve as the distribution unit. This is mostly for product.
Any other questions?
I think it sounds good.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Haley,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 11th, 2025 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you all. I have nothing that the rest of you haven't covered. Maybe one exception would be that I am participating in the Cook Family Foundation put together a group to look at recycling. It's a pretty good group from our community, well represented by various county and municipal individuals, people involved in recycling. My hope, since we have to do the materials management plan very soon and be involved, that this will dovetail nicely and they will be able to do some of our legwork that we may not have time for or funds for, and we could get a much better program out of it. So I'm very hopeful about that. Well, we've had 2 meetings so far. I will be, of course, attending, representing this board, and I also am representing Community Mental Health because I'm on that board, and of course they have the cardboard recycling, DJ Root. So that's something that I will definitely keep you apprised on. We have our first meeting of Materials Management Board, I think on the 15th of April, and that is something, my understanding is we have to do some kind of an organizational thing in order to tell them, okay, we've done this, now you can send us, the state, you can send us our money so we can continue the planning work, and I think we have about another 2 years to do that, don't we?
It's an extended period of time.
Yes, we aren't in any rush. I'd like to see, in fact, I'm hoping some other counties and municipalities go ahead of us. We can see what they're doing, get some idea what works, what doesn't. The Cook Foundation's group can maybe do some of that for us too, keep us from going down a wrong path. So I know none of us went out of our way to want to do this with our finances being difficult, but since we're being forced to, we're gonna make it as painless as possible, and I hope actually do some good work, much like what we're doing with the household waste pickup from the health department. I think that's an excellent job that actually takes waste out of the system that is very harmful. So maybe something good will come out of all this.
You're gonna have 2 boards working on the same project then?
Well, the Cook Family Foundation is not any kind of a legal board. It is an advisory group, and it isn't technically attached to anything. It's simply something the Cook Family Foundation is funding, and they want to look at recycling, how can we recycle in the community, and so on. I have no doubt that they will have some recommendations for us, but no, they have no authority over us.
I didn't say authority, I just thought this was funny, you got 2 boards working on the same project, so.
Well, to some extent, I think it could actually help us. Because
I didn't say that, I just thought that
Okay.
they should be working together, but oh.
Well, they're going to, the foundation is going to look at recycling in general, kind of what works, what doesn't, and of course, as a county, we're going to have to look at what we're mandated to do and what we can afford to do. So our point of view will be somewhat different than the Cook Foundation's, but I do think there'll be some good overlap there. I think it could be useful.
Do we have a location in the county that we could utilize with a concrete pad that people could bring their stuff and deposit?
We are so preliminary right now.
So
I don't think we've got.
We have to have 4 locations.
I thought we had to have 5. We only have to have 4. Okay. I know we've already got some recycling, of course, going on. We've got the Lionsburg facility and something else.
Morris.
And
Now,
Great Lakes Fusion.
That's shut down right now.
Yeah, Morris
okay.
is not, that hasn't been operating for years.
Right, but it's there, we could use it.
We also have Great Lakes
Larry
Fusion
yes.
and Vernon that is doing some
What, he said
recycling
we did?
activities. And
What was it?
likely part of the
Township?
solution for the materials waste, or materials management plan is gonna have to be some kind of private-public partnership as opposed to us taking on all new roles and functions.
And there will definitely be overlap between our materials management board and this group. For instance, Great Lakes Fusion, of course, is part of the Cook Family Foundation Group and will also be represented, as I recall, on our materials management.
Brian Marks.
Yes, and I'm sure there will be some other overlap there. But we're so preliminary right now. We haven't even organized. Our first meeting is in April for the Materials Management Board. And while there have been 2 meetings of the Cook Foundation, no direction yet. But we're still looking for direction. And of course, that's their thing. I'm just one member of that rather large group.
Does the state plan on paying a private entity to take care of our refuse, or?
I don't know what the state will be doing. Like I said, we haven't even had our first meeting, and one of the things we have to do with the Materials Management Board is really sort out and get expertise on what it is they're really requiring, what's optional, and so on. Hopefully after that meeting, I'll be able to report back to everybody what it is we have to do and what we don't have to do and what it's going to cost us.
I am hopeful that if we do get a change in leadership in our state government, that maybe we won't have to do this at all. I mean, it would be great if the funding for this would be pulled back or reallocated to what I would consider a better use. So I'm holding out hope that maybe we won't have to do this, or at least it won't look like the one size fits all that does not work for a rural county like Shiawassee.
I'm just hoping they would halfway pull our funding back, but not the Band-Aid. That would be terrible. Basically throwing it all on
An
us.
unfunded mandate would not be a first, but
No, it would not. But we have to go forward assuming those changes will not occur. But again, it's 2 years,
Right.
2 years just to make the plan.
I can hope.
So we have time. We don't have to rush this thing. And I personally do not want to rush this thing because I want others to plow the road for us. And we can look at what others are doing.
Just a general.
That is all I had. Dr. Boggs?
So just dovetailing off of that, April 15th at 6 p.m. here is where the materials management plan will be, if anyone would like to attend. It is a public meeting. And so that will be here at 6 p.m. A couple of quick updates. We have begun the audit for 2024. So most of the year we are either looking at the past or planning for the future. So we're now doing our retrospective of 2024. We have started it about 4 weeks earlier than we normally do so that we're not as crunched to turn it in. This will hopefully be 5 years of on-time audits. And we've had very minor deficiencies, so hopefully that will continue. Part of my time this past month has been working with the Pleasant View Board and Pleasant View itself on bonding for their expansion program. More than likely, you will see something about that, a resolution either next month or the month after, depending on interest rates, bond sales, and projections. We're still working out the details. Because remember, Pleasant View is a component unit. We own the building, they operate it. It's a 3-member board. We appoint 2 of the 3 members, and 1 is appointed by the state. And then they will be asking for about $10 million, and they would like to pay $2.5 million of it in cash. So that leaves $7.5 million for financing. So we've looked at the process of what that'll take, meeting with the county's bond council and financial advisors on that. So we'll have more on that probably this next month. I've been working with Julie and Sarah and Justin Horvath on applying for a land bank grant so that we can get some additional funding. We have some Speedway meetings coming up, I think tomorrow, and advancing that project. We've been working on some things with ADA compliance on the website. And finally, we made a slight change to the 401 and 457 plans that are available to county employees. We have not changed the provider, which is Maynard Wealth. We have changed the TPA, or the record keeper, to a company out of Grand Rapids called Journey, which has a lower fee rate or fee schedule, which means that it is cheaper for the county and the employees get to keep more of their own money and their local. And that's all I have.
for Dr. Boggs?
Oh.
Yeah.
Nothing? Okay, at this moment, at this time,
No,
we have our.
Caroline, did she wanna say something?
Right, yes.
Yes, I'm moving into that.
Oh,
Right, I'm not part of the board, I'm public.
I was just saying, this is our second opportunity, and we're gonna start with Caroline.
Okay,
Please go.
thank you. A couple months ago, I mentioned to you about the mural on their early voting site. That's, one of my elections workers thought would be a good idea, so because it was a county building, I came before you and said, you know, what are your thoughts? And you guys all thought it was a good idea. So I reached out to the schools, and I had 4 respond positively, though Corona sent something this morning saying they don't know if they'll be able to send any samples in, so they might be out. But I've had some feedback and some enthusiasm for this, and so that is a good thing. I've worked with Sherman Williams and asked about paint and supplies and what, if they're able to contribute to any of that, and they said yes. I told them, I don't have any plans yet at the moment, but my criteria to the schools was that it had to be patriotic. Dr. Boggs and I have had this conversation, and election voted related. So I sent the picture of the building, the diameters of the building, and I gave them a deadline of April, whenever our board meeting, April 12th, or whenever our board meeting is in April, so that today I could compile like a little judges committee, and then that way when they send things in, I know who to forward to, and then in April's meeting, the judges could make a determination for the winners. The winner, I have first prize at 100, second prize at 50, and third prize at 25. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. As soon as we have a winner, then I know what we're looking at, and then I can work closely with Sherman Williams to see what they can give. And I was also going to reach out to some of the local Little Caesars, Jersey Mike's, anyone, to see if they have anything that they can contribute food-wise for whenever this event would take place. Any questions? This is uncharted for me.
Caroline has done a really nice job of trying to make the first part taking on the early voting in its totality, which she does not have to do, but also try to make the early voting center appealing and a creative way to dress it up without it costing the general fund money.
Is that gonna be on the back of the building, or where's
It
it?
will be on the entrance, like that wall.
Oh, yeah,
So,
the back.
because that was, we
Okay.
put up a lot of signs, but you'd be amazed, maybe not, how many people went to every other door
They
that
did.
didn't say vote here. But, so,
There'll be those 2 double back doors that look like it's going into what is a cafeteria or a gym. So, big ones.
I was thinking, abandon all hope, ye who enter here, and then, you know,
Bonus
the doors
points.
being kind of a maw of hell.
Bonus points if you can cite where that comes from.
right.
Let's not.
Dante's Inferno, Canto 120.
So, and because it's not my building, it's the county building, I thought, ooh, I'll pick, I mean, who would like to volunteer to be a judge on whatever entries I receive? They have 1 month, I think that's ample time
I'll
for them.
volunteer.
I'll volunteer.
I think it's a great idea. I've seen some murals on buildings and so on in different towns that just look great and brighten up the downtown area and so on. I think it's a terrific, too bad it's on the back.
Right,
But
A
people
lot
will
of
see it
people will
though.
go through those doors.
That's true.
5,500 in
So-
November of '24, so.
I think it's a great idea.
I'm not taking credit for it because I'm not creative, it was one of my election workers. I'm just, you give me an idea and I'm implementing it, so he's going to get recognized for it. He's like, I don't want any recognition, but it's a really good idea. It gets everyone involved, the young people need to understand voting and early voting, and a very, very positive response from the school. So I only have 2 out of 7, come on,
Well, how many do you need?
Haley,
There we go.
at least 3.
At least an odd number.
At least three
Right,
members.
okay.
Okay.
I'm trying not to say yes to everything.
An odd number less than a score.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to come up with something
Drain
to
commissioner.
enter, but.
No, I'm talking about the Board of Commissioners.
Well, you can't involve other county officials in
I
discussions?
would rather not, they don't own the building.
Oh.
Because it gets too big, then I start getting too many opinions, and quite frankly, let's
It's just as
keep it
long as
under
there's
control.
less than a quorum.
You got it.
I have
That's
to-
what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get.
Okay, Garber, Howard, and Healy. I will forward anything I get to you, before the April meetings. Super, that was all I had.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Anyone else? Anyone else from the public? Matt, please.
Well, as you might recall, a couple years ago, I brought to the board's attention that we should establish a county charter. There's only 4 counties within the state that have one. If we have a county charter, we don't have to listen to what a tyrannical government tells us to do. And it would behoove us to go that way with the way the federal government is positioned in itself to restore a constitutional republic.
I honestly don't know anything about the legalities of that. I guess we could discuss it.
A constitutional republic reflects upon common law, and state government reflects on general law.
I guess I would suggest, let's you and I talk about, I don't know anything about this. And if need be, we'll talk to others too. Okay. Legalities I know nothing about. Anyone else? All right.
I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Lion Bear and Joel Spitz for all of your help and coming to see the building out in Shasburg, and we're really excited at the opportunity to continue to work with the county, so thank you.
I'm not looking at it again till it's done.
I promise it'll be safer next time, and I'll make ginger molasses cookies.
Well, you're not going out every.
Anyone else?